here's my new copium theory. What if they announce third kits at Worlds? It's basically the one thing that pretty much everyone wants to happen, and today I'm gonna go over 15 of my biggest hopes for third kits in this game. Whether it's weapons that just really didn't get lucky, unique playstyles that could be opened up, or brand new special and sub combinations, these are my biggest hopes. And just to clarify, these are like super out there hopes, not realistic in the slightest. For the most part, I am going all out on this video. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoy, and let's get started. We're gonna be going in class order here, starting with the short range shooters. This one's pretty obvious. Zipcaster isn't on enough cool weapons, and it was an absolute fumble to make an essentially repeat Tenatech kit when we had a splash with Zipcaster in the trailer. So I'd love to see this weapon with Toxic Mist and Zipcaster. This would be essentially recreating the splash playstyle from Splatoon 2, being a low points for special, probably 180p in this case, but having a sub that doesn't paint and is relatively weak, so it plays heavily around getting an insane amount of casters, by far more than anything else in the series, and taking advantage of its ability to fight with that, especially as a weapon with no jump RNG. I think it'd be a really unique and fun playstyle. Next up, the Jet Squelcher. Honestly, I don't like the kits Jet has in this game. They feel unnecessarily weak while still having a good amount of special spam due to both being 180p. In my opinion, the peak Jet Squelcher playstyle was the custom Jet from Splatoon 1, which is what we're bringing back with Burst Bomb and Kraken. This removes Jet Squelcher's ability to spam passive entry specials, instead making it a powerhouse of a weapon, with Burst Bombs to increase its aggressive potential and Kraken to completely go in and become a frontline. This was the most aggressive anchor we've ever had, and it'll be the same thing in this game. L3, you got your perfect Burst Bomb back, but with the stamp. We can't recreate that obviously since it already exists, but what if we go with a close second? Rolled Torpedo still has a lot of similar burst combos, and Thrown Torpedo could be pretty interesting with the weapon. If it just dealt one more damage, one outside hit of Torp would actually combo with a one tap from L3, as well as the new scouting it provides, and Jetpack can stay as the special. I think it was one of the coolest Inkjet weapons in Splatoon 2, and having more Inkjet options is something this game desperately needs. L3 is a cool candidate with a very unique playstyle that I'd love to see back.
Hello, I'm Lucy, the editor for this video. Ever since the E-Liter was first revealed in the Splatoon Direct right before the game's launch, I have fallen in love with the weapon, even still playing it in the current year. All of the E-Liter's kits, historically, have been alright, with Splatoon 1's vanilla variant being my favorite, with a supportive special, Echolocator. With this weapon kit, I want to continue to keep that supportive playstyle, but with a different flair. Starting off with Torpedo, with its amazing location ability for scouting and its roll form to help with close range encounters. Why not Autobomb, you ask? Well, it works well on Hydra mostly because you already have a strong ability to fight back at close range, and well, Hydra has it, so let's not be boring. Now for the special. Since Vanilla E-Liter kinda fills that similar niche, I wish to give it Booyah Bomb as a long-range painting option that can also arc across geometry. Yeah, Hydra has Booyah, but these are supposed to be unrealistic picks for a kit. The added pressure from afar from both Torp and Booyah Bomb would make this kit a strong backline option, making the vanilla kit more of a niche option on certain maps. This would have to have a high points of special, around 210, to make sure it won't spam it as much, but it will be a solid option to see in competitive play for it to catch up with the overall pace of the game.
So, you know which one of my weapons got fumbled the hardest? It's Dreadbringer. They fumbled Dreadbringer. What happened to Torpedo on Dread? The sub-weapon line lied to us in the previous season, and this time, I'm not letting it happen. Torp is the perfect sub-weapon for it. Instant ability to paint your feet for movement, amazing combos with both a double slosh if you hit the outside hit or a single slosh if you hit the middle one, and again, even the ability to combo with the very outside explosion with the 90, on top of the amazing paint of the main weapon, makes it an amazing counter against sharking weapons. And screw it, if we're going for the perfect kit, let's do literally perfect with Crab Tank as the special. The ball form can allow you to survive in close range, the AoE mode can combo with the 90 as per usual, and you have a mode with plenty of long-range paint to make sure you're keeping up your paint uptime. It would have to be a high points for special, but it would be an amazingly fun kit.
Hello, I'm Tapout. I'm a competitive Explosion main and fellow creator, and today, Chara has graciously invited me to give my thoughts on a third Explosion kit, since, let's just say the second kit isn't looking so good. With a third Explosion, I would like to help resolve two of X-Blow's weaknesses, self-defense and X-Factor. Ink Mines could help against Rushdown by trapping and damaging enemies who don't tread carefully, and they also help Explosion keep the area around it painted, since painting your feet in the middle of a fight is really slow and often gets you killed. Explo is still really weak to long range and specials though, and oh, that works. Trizuka helps you defend against long-range threats, which X-Splosher is typically weak to, and it doubles as a highly threatening X-Factor. Trizuka is capable of single-handedly changing the tides of battle, which is something X-Splosher hasn't really ever had before. Overall, this kit specializes in keeping X-Splosher alive, while also threatening a very powerful special as a reward for skillful survival. Now, back to Chara.
Thanks for the Explo kit, Tap Out. And by the way, if you guys are enjoying any of the custom art for these kits, this is the person who made them, so check out the channel in the description. Man, if Ballpoint got its old Splatoon 2 kit back of Beacon Rain, it would be so cool. However, with Rain on another spiraling already, I think we'll go with a different idea. Let's bring back the iconic beacon that we miss so much, but give it super chump. This would definitely be more of a zones niche than anything, but having both a sub and special that have to do with jumps is pretty interesting. And the chumps would definitely work with it pretty easily. You could potentially use this to hide jumps to broken beacons, or as a way to paint up and block more aggressively. You could essentially use them as a little bit of cover while trying to go for opponents. If they buff super chump a little bit, I think it'd be a very fun kit to enable the most aggressive of comps. I wonder what I would want on the custom range blaster. It is truly a mystery. For Octobrush, I really miss Autobomb on it. I think it was one of the best weapons to have synergy with it. Not too incongruous, finds opponents, and functions pretty well for it. But let's bring back the Kraken from Splatoon 1 to mesh with it instead. Octobrush with Kraken really was just one of the most fun things, since you would use Kraken as a movement tool rather than just for kills, to set up Octobrush into more aggressive angles in that game, which you could definitely do again here. And I think it would give the slower moving Octobrush a way to get just as far into the enemy base as Inkbrush has. There are two dualies that had some pretty fumbled kits in this game. The Dapple dualies and the Tetra dualies. So let's be sure Dapple gets something that works. How about a Fizzy Bomb for the sub weapon? Need something to move forward, poke enemies, or combo off of? We're giving it the everything option, as well as Trizuka. Trizuka is great against things that have more range than you. And for Dapple, that's pretty much everything. Tetra, on the other hand, I think could be pretty interesting with Curling Bomb, actually. Giving it even more movement options on top of its 4 rolls, especially given how little pain it has, would allow it to be even more of a rat weapon when behind people than usual, allowing you to take even more fights and keep enemies guessing as to where you are. And while unfortunately Zipcaster got taken by the Sprinkler kit, I think Killer Whale could be pretty interesting for it. It would combo off of Tetra's damage pretty well, give it an instant ink tank refill if it needs to get moving, and I mean, a Tetra rolling at you with a bunch of beams making it a bit harder to nail their exact location sounds like a pretty solid combo. Up next is the Brella. So, Brella lost Inkstorm compared to Splatoon 2, which is a shame because one of the more recent Inkstorm buffs, the one that allows you to heal when you're not in squid form, is literally perfect for this weapon that will stand holding a shield and can't go into squid form. I would love to see how well Inkstorm could do with Brella in this game, so I want to bring that back. And for the sub weapon, I'm just gonna give it Fizzy Bomb. Honestly, Brella struggled a little bit with the damage, and it's pretty heavy on the ink consumption, so I'm going with something that covers both. I think this weapon could use a really good kit to help it see some use, especially on zones. Up next is the Tri-Stringer, another one with kits that just are kind of mediocre at best. So we're going with one that's as good as I can. With Splash Wall, you'll have the ability to challenge chargers and other backlines, as well as an option against shorter range weapons to stall for your life. And if that isn't good enough, you got a Crab Tank. No backline has this right now, so if you need something to deal with other anchors, get your team in, or provide some flexibility, then Crab provides that. And that's not even mentioning the potential combos with the bow shots comboing with Crab AoE. That just sounds pretty fun. Next up is the Flingza Roller. So one idea I've wanted to see, like literally since Splatoon 2, is a roller with Inkjet, and we've actually never had that yet. So let's go with Flingza Roller for a prime candidate. It'll be able to farm it fairly reliably using its vertical flick while keeping its horizontal flick for fighting, such as if you recall under a ledge and want to use it to defend yourself. As for the sub-weapon, I don't think Flingza is that picky, so you can pair it with a lot of stuff. But I want something to get the old Tenatech kit back, so we're gonna give it to Flingza, since I think its rolled bomb combo would be really useful to be able to extend its horizontal flick kill range at certain times, as well as a tool to poke people either closer to your horizontal flick or further away for the vertical one. And last, but certainly not least, is the Splatana Wiper. I'm gonna go with Splat Bomb. Torp works really well with its rolled mode to give it some fast damage since its kill time is pretty slow with horizontals alone, and Splat Bomb could accomplish the same job. And for the special, we'll go with Ink Storm. I think Wiper stands and shoots a lot, so it would be helpful to have that healing boost. And with that, 3 horizontals doing 90 damage would combo very well with the weapon, giving it some much needed help with its aggression. That unlike stand would actually work. And there you go. That's my picks for my main hopes if we get third kits. I really do hope we manage to see them. There's just so many combinations we could get, and so many weapons deserve another chance. Let me know what you think, and I will see you all next time.